Voice of the Cage.
We have reached the main event of the evening.
This is Voice of the Cage Radio with Patrick Stanger. Fighters, trainers, promoters, events, rumors. If it has to do with MMA, we're talking about it.
This is Carlos Condit, and you're listening to Voice of the Cage with Patrick Stanger.
Hi, here's Vanderlei Silva, and you're listening Voice of the Cage with Patrick Stanger.
On the phone with me right now is the former UFC light heavyweight champion, Tito Ortiz. How you doing, Tito?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Excellent. You sound like you've been doing these phone interviews all day. You a little tired?
No, I was a little bit. I just got back from Vegas last night. We had a little family vacation. It got in a little late, but I'm doing good, man.
Oh, you took the whole family out there?
Yeah. We stayed out there for a week. Stayed at Caesar Palace. Good times.
Speaking of which, it's funny because I announced on my Voice of the Cage fan page yesterday that I was going to be interviewing you. And, all the guys, of course, had their questions. And then the girls, guess who they wanted to know about?
Oh, of course, Jenna.
Yeah. So, I just think it's funny, So they want to know, how is Jenna? That's the question.
Awesome, man. Just take care of the boys, and we're doing great.
Well, let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit about MMA and the fight scene. That was a great fight when you fought Bader, of course. And wow, I jumped up off my couch. I hardly ever do that. And it was a very exciting moment. You'd been on, a little bit of a losing streak for a while, and your contract was on the line, and you got in there and you took care of business.
I was really stoked. It was just a factor, my back's pressed against the wall, and, I fight best at that, and against Bader, that's what it was about. And, I went in and I gave it my all and got my hand raised, and, I was able to keep my contract and able to continue to compete. My last losses before then were just, close, losing split decisions, against top guys who went to become world champions. So I was competing against the top guys in the world and still competing well against them. And, defeating Ryan Bader with a record of 14-1, and the only loss he had was against the champion now. I'm still fortunate to be reckoned with at a light heavyweight division, now that I'm healthy, of course.
Thanks, by the way, for taking the fight with Rashad Evans. It was a bonus. You took the fight. Everybody knew what was on the line. But how do you feel about it?
I took the fight as just showing my loyalty towards Dana and the UFC. They asked me if I could do a favor and step up for him, and I did. I came up a little short, but I went out and I gave it my all. I thought I was going to win. I felt strong. I felt confident. But, Rashad was training for 14 months for the fight, so he was ready. There was no flaws in his game, and he was the better man that night. And I gave it my all. I almost pulled off a submission, and like I say, I went in and I fought with my heart and soul as I do every single one of my fights. I entertained, and I did my job. And I came up short, but, I'm still in the game. I'm still in the hunt, and, I'll be back once again before the year's over.
Well, Chad Sowards asked from the Voice of the Cage fan page, he says, where did you get the Gravedigger celebration from? And he wants to get some tips on the guillotine.
The Gravedigger thing came from watching a Muay Thai event. Some guy from Thailand, he did it, and he did it before the event, before the fight. Actually, when they announced his name, he did it, and I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool. So I did it when I fought Evan Tanner, when I defended my world title, and it's stuck since then. I know for a guillotine, to finish it, I think it really comes down to keeping your elbow down and not trying to pull away, but kind of squeeze into them as a crunch. Get legs locked completely around the waist or body and, just clinch down.
The DVD, Bad Blood, is about, actually, you tell me about it.
Actually, this really comes down to, everyone gets a chance to learn how me and Liddell, our conflicts first evolved, You get through exclusive interviews between me and Chuck. Of course, they get 2 full fights of me and Chuck's fight, 2 fights we did have, and a bunch of rare behind-the-scenes footage that people have never seen before. And of course, it's available at Best Buy on August 30th, and people get to see how the Bad Blood started. I haven't got a chance to watch the DVD myself, so I don't know how it plays out or, whose side is really chosen more. But, I remember doing the interviews and stuff, and I said the truth, and so hopefully they put it on the DVD and people get to see the truth behind me and Chuck Liddell.
So this is not your doing. This is somebody put together this DVD and involved Chuck and you.
Yeah, no, the UFC put this together.
Okay.
It's the UFC that put this together.
That's interesting because, what it would lead up to is, is there going to be a fight between you guys? And obviously Chuck Liddell is retired and has taken a few shots to the head. You know, we're not sure if he's going to come out of retirement. How do you feel about that? Do you want to fight Chuck again?
I would love to. I mean, as a fighter, I would love to, of course. I always want to get back a loss. But, you know, as a person, as someone I thought he was my friend, I hope he doesn't compete in the UFC anymore. You know, he's had some really bad, you know, brain damage, and he's been knocked out unconscious many a times, and that's very, very dangerous. And I think a person's health should come before a person's desire to fight again.
Man, I absolutely agree. It's like, you know, with Randy Couture in his last fight against Machida. You know, I'm a fan of Randy's, you know, like, you know, a lot of people are. I don't want to see him getting knocked out, kicked in the face, you know, like that. I mean, you know, you like somebody, you've watched him over the years, and you just don't want to see somebody get hurt.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. That's the way this sport is. If it's time for you to go, it's time for you to go.
Bad Blood, and it's due out August 30th. You can find it at Best Buy, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Tito, I appreciate you joining me today.
Yeah, you're very welcome, man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Definitely, and best of luck to you.
Awesome, man. Thanks.